I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network. The city of Columbus has lifted its mask mandate, and starting today, 2 large school districts in Ohio are also dropping the mandates, Cincinnati and Columbus schools. But some parents may still want their kids to wear masks, and that could create issues as well. Olivia Eugenio with ONN affiliate WBNS-TV in Columbus reports.
Tanya Kelly is a teacher at Horizon Science Academy, as well as the founder of Empower Our Youth Foundation, an anti-bullying organization. She says some kids will choose to wear masks, but it's their choice.
I always talk about inclusion, acceptance, and respect.
She recommends parents have conversations with their kids while remaining open.
When we come to school, we have to be respectful of each other's choices. It might not be your choice, but it is their choice.
I'm Olivia Eugenio.
No arrests have been made in the fatal shooting of a 16-year-old boy on the far southwest side of Columbus Sunday night. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says it happened near an apartment complex. The boy was pronounced dead at the scene. The U.S. could soon take the next step to sanction Russia for its invasion of Ukraine.
Members of Congress are looking at banning Russian oil. Leaders say there's bipartisan support for the plan. This is happening as oil prices hit their highest level since back in 2008. AAA says the average price for a gallon of gas has topped $4. I'm Tracy Townsend.
And I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly. Here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Check out Toyota's wide range of all-wheel and four-wheel drive vehicles, like the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Or go off-road in a rugged new 4Runner. Visit your Toyota dealer today or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, reserve yours. Offers end April 4th. Toyota, let's go places.
Want to buy your own home but think you can't afford it? What if you got down payment assistance or a discounted interest rate just for being a recent college grad, teacher, nurse, or veteran? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency offers this and more, and our programs are always available for eligible Ohioans, big city, small town, and everywhere in between. Find out if you qualify at myohiohome.org. That's myohiohome.org. Home ownership, ready when you are.
Springtime is here, and you know what that means. It's time for mulch madness. Did you know that too much mulch is bad for trees and shrubs? 2 inches of mulch is plenty. Any more and you risk causing roots to grow up and around trunks, which increases unhealthy stress, shortens tree life, and even keeps moisture from getting down to tree roots. To find out more about mulch madness or to find a certified arborist near you, visit treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
We are compassionate.
We are focused.
We are confident.
We are dependable.
We are resilient.
We are skilled.
We are empathetic.
We are knowledgeable.
We are respectful.
We are here.
For you and your family.
We are close to home. We are
WVU Medicine.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts. Live and local talk is just around the corner. Stay right here on the Watchdog.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I am the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Tuesday. Mostly cloudy skies, a cooler day with a high near 44. Mostly cloudy overnight with a low of 35. Showers beginning in the earlier part of your Wednesday on and off with temperatures in the low to mid 40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
All right, listen up, you guys. Morning.
Awake.
It's Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday.
I am loving the sound of your voice.
Good morning, sunshine.
Crank up the radio.
You all ready for the big show?
Happy Tuesday, everybody.
And action.
Okay, let's do it. Hey, guys. You ready to let the dogs out?
All right, let's do this.
Yes, we are ready to let the dogs out.
Well, what are we waiting for?
It's showtime.
On FM, on AM, online, on demand, and on video. We are where you are. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe is here now.
Smidgen above freezing, 33 degrees. Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 33 degrees. Here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 33 degrees. At the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley, it is cloudy outside, kind of a verstunk-looking morning. Aaron's forecast says we could even see a few flurries this morning. I haven't seen that. Hopefully we won't see that, but it's going to be not a particularly warm day. 43 for the high today, so pick up about 10 more degrees. It's the 7:10 in the morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Biff, I have over the years, once or twice I was threatened with violence, particularly during the 111-day coal miner strike a long, long time ago. I certainly have had elected officials upset with me. If you're with me a long time, you may remember, although he's a good friend now, there was a period of time where Bob Ney and I were not speaking. He was withholding any information. He wouldn't return my calls. His staff had been told not to talk to me because I had irritated him. There was even a West Virginia governor once who told me, "You're causing me trouble." Former Governor Archmore one time had at a community college event. I was covering it and kind of walked past and pointed at me and said, "You're causing me trouble." So I have been, I'm used to elected officials and other things being upset with me. Certainly if you check the text line every day, many of you people are upset with me. So I'm used to that. But I have to say, Biff, in all the years I've done this, I've never had any elected official who hoped I would be kidnapped. And yet Governor Justice yesterday said that he thought it would have been good if Phil Kabler, the one-time reporter, now retired reporter, but continuing columnist for the Charleston Gazette, he said it would have been good if he had been hijacked while he was on a recent train ride. People who follow Phil Kabler know he loves to ride the train. He's a big Amtrak rider, and so the governor says that just would have been just good if he had been hijacked. When where's the quote here? Would have been wonderful in my book if the train would have been hijacked, and they could have just kept him in California forever. Governor then went on to say he might have to sue Kabler, might have to sue the Gazette-Mail, because what's their crime, Biffy? Well, they criticized him. They criticized me. I may have to sue them, and I hope they've been hijacked. Biff, for a big man, and you would concur with me that he is a big man, correct?
No argument here.
For a big man, he's awfully thin-skinned. I mean, Governor Justice he cannot take criticism at all. And Phil Kabler, who certainly was a critic and is a critic and does raise a lot of, I think, very important issues about the governor in his column on the weekend, the State House beat, it was a thorn in his side, no question about it. Although I don't know that he was any more than a lot of other folks were. But he has always he being the governor, has always had it in for Phil Kabler. He always had it in for Phil Kabler. This past weekend, Kabler said that a lot of people died in West Virginia because the governor did not act more aggressively on vaccines. And I think that's the point that the governor thinks he's going to. He has not sued. He said he's threatening to sue. And I think it's probably a wise idea to threaten and not do it because he ain't going to win a lawsuit like that. So, hey, Biff, it gives me something to work for, I guess. Gives me a goal to try to obtain.
We all need we all need goals.
I was told by Governor Moore once, "You're causing me problems," but he didn't want me hijacked. So I guess my goal now is for some elected official to want me hijacked. You know, heck, even Mayor Elliott and I sometimes have little disagreements, but I don't think the mayor wants me. You don't think Papa Glenn would hijack me, would you, Biff?
No, he's. I think the mayor's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. Now there might be times he wants to yell at you, but I think other than that, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, most elected officials understand that part of the job of opinion people in the media, like the columnist Kabler, like talk show hosts like me, part of our job is to poke at things, to raise questions, to ask a little bit deeper than is maybe the norm, and sometimes it's going to get people ticked off. And so clearly, Kabler lives in Justice's head. I mean, he lives in his head. He rents space in there. Kabler's retired. During the last year of those COVID pandemic briefings, the governor would not even call on him. Everybody in the state who was involved in those briefings got called on every day to ask a question, but not Phil. Phil was the guy in the back of the room raising his hand. Nope, didn't call on Phil. Never did. By the way, the governor said Phil Kabler, I love this phrase, why Phil Kabler negatively impacts God and negatively impacts children. Holy mackerel. Kabler negatively impacts God? That's a powerful writer. Powerful writer. I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. Mighty small-minded of you, Governor. Mighty, mighty, mighty. Mighty thin-skinned. A little bit later on, we'll talk about a local student who did a baby dog project. Get to that in a bit. What have we got going on today besides the governor hoping that Phil Kabler would have been hijacked? A contentious hearing in the West Virginia House yesterday over the anti-racism bill led to a few modifications in the bill, but it did get moved forward. It is still working its way towards final approval by week's end. We'll have the latest on the final week in the legislature in our Capitol Report and also from Brad McElhaney at Metro News. We'll continue talking about the invasion in Ukraine. Civilian deaths are rising in the Ukraine. ABC News continues its coverage. Our Pentagon reporter, Tom Squitieri, checks in with updates on the invasion and also some more on the political reactions here at home. Some encouraging and some discouraging facts I came across last night about us, about we, the people of the United States. Basically, statistically, we are overwhelmingly nice people. We're kind, we're polite, we do good things. Overwhelmingly, Americans are nice people. But you wouldn't believe that if you read Twitter. And the statistics show that. While we are overwhelmingly nice, the social media platforms are overwhelmingly nasty. And I got some numbers I want to share with you on that. So that's a look ahead to what I've got for you. What have you got for me? You can text me 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600, or use the CityNet hotline at 304-232-8255. Now, one of the stories we've been following a good bit for the past just about a week, I guess, is the story out of the Ohio County school system. School board last week talked about this, the decision to remove certain textbooks from the elementary grades, from the lower grades at least, that the administration felt were a little too graphic for second graders. Two of the books involved civil rights issues. One was a book on Martin Luther King. One was a book on Ruby Bridges. There was a book about Galileo that got pulled. We talked about all of that decision last week. Yesterday, we talked to Raquel McLeod from the Ohio County Schools, who says she met with some teachers virtually late last week. They came to kind of an agreement that those books could go back into the classroom, but the images wouldn't be shown. The teachers would read it. I'm wondering what this, and I've been getting a lot of comments from teachers. I've been getting a lot of email from teachers. And I was just kind of wondering what the consensus was or what the feeling was among teachers. We've talked to the administration several times. So I invited the president of the Ohio County Education Association, Jenny Craig, to join us. Jenny, good morning. Welcome to the show. Are you are the teachers you talk to? I mean, where are they on this Wit and Wisdom series? Are they upset about it? Are they concerned about the way the whole thing worked? Do they feel things were done wrong? Do they think too much is being made of too little? I mean, what kind of reaction are you getting?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me on. So I think it's really important that we look at this through the lens of really what's happening now when we talk about how teachers are thinking and feeling. We are really concerned with a lot of things happening, both on a national and state level, in regard to a lot of these issues and topics. And so yesterday, as you just mentioned, Senate Bill 498, despite overwhelming opposition during the public hearing, I think the numbers were like 24 spoke against it and only 4 spoke in favor. If you're paying attention, that legislation that would be greatly restrictive to teaching, particularly our history, that passed House Education Committee, and that will make its way to the House Judiciary Committee. And if it passes that, it'll make its way onto the House floor. And so, you have to sort of think about that as a frame of reference and context for how folks are thinking and feeling. But I also think it's important to know how the process works in general, how we do have a really rigorous process at the state level that's dictated in code, how all of this comes to be, so how textbooks and materials are adopted by county boards of education. I think there's some confusion about how that works or how it should work, and sort of how we navigated through that as a county. So basically, every 6 years, per content area, they're on a schedule, a cycle rotation, if you will. It starts with the State Department. So they review our content standards and objectives, which are easily found online for any parent that wants to know what their children K to 12 are learning. So they sit down and they review these content standards and objectives, and they make sure that they're current. They make sure that they are aligned with any sort of legislative changes. In particular, things like the Senate bill that I just spoke about. And after that, they put out a sort of bid for vendors, for textbook companies, if you will, in order to meet, in order to be able to submit a bid that you want to be considered for your textbooks. I believe they have to meet, I think it's 80% of our content standards and objectives. And so then the State Department releases an approved list of textbook vendors that meet at least 80% of our content standards and objectives. And then those are sent to county boards of education. We in Ohio County had 2 to choose from. There was, of course, the Wit and Wisdom series that has, brought up a lot of these issues. And then there was another one, a Harcourt series, a Hoot and Mifflin Harcourt series. And so then counties are charged with developing a team, and we did that here. We had a team of teachers from multiple grade levels, from all of our elementary schools, and they met in the spring because in state code also, these need to be adopted no later than May 1st. So they met and they discussed both of the series on their merits. And they ended up voting for the Wit and Wisdom series. And the reasons given from both the teachers who were on that committee, who are our members, that have reached out to me that I've spoken with, as well as Ms. McLeod at board meetings, were that the Wit and Wisdom series, they felt that it was superior because it aligned with our GEODs, which is elementary level beginning informational text. They aligned really well with that. They also, the Wit and Wisdom series aligns with our foundation program, which, those of you not in the elementary world, that is our phonetics. So our Wilson reading, sounding, blending, decoding words. And then these books also are they have great cross-curricular connections. Unfortunately, what we've seen due to the rise of standardized testing, subjects that are not tested sometimes fall by the wayside. And that's why it's important to get as much of our science and social studies integrated cross-curricular into other curriculums. And the committee that met felt that Wit and Wisdom did do that. The vote was really close. And so we don't always do it this way, but not only did the committee that met voted for the Wit and Wisdom series, but they put it out to a vote of all of the elementary teachers in the county. They were able to look and review and to vote, and they also voted for the Wit and Wisdom series. And it wasn't really until, I believe, early August, when groups of folks started to contact the Board of Education with what they felt were concerns with some of the books and some of the content, and we've kind of heard a lot of that over the last couple weeks. In fact, you can sort of go back through the Board of Education minutes and look at the videos. There's one in particular from August 8th where Mr. Jones addresses this, and he says, that there is, quote, controversy, and that they were going to meet as a team, and they were going to decide whether or not they could just pull a few, or if it was pervasive enough, I believe is the words that he used, to have to decide a different course of action. And so at that point, teachers were called to come and to review some of these, quote, controversial issues. This was done, it was, I'm sure, a whirlwind at the beginning of the school year. Our administration was already dealing with COVID mandates and protocols, and we're under, intense pressure from people on both sides of the COVID issue, how to operate our schools the best we can, as safe as we can, with the least restrictions on our students. And so, they called a meeting. It was a day or two or a few days before school started. So unfortunately, not all of the team could have been part of that. But they did afford teachers the opportunity to review some of this content. And so ultimately, there were about 30 books that they had to set aside in the series, again, that they voted for and adopted previously, to determine whether they felt any of them needed removed or replaced. Again, everyone that I talked to was very happy for that opportunity. But again, it was a really stressful time for teachers and administration, the very beginning of the school year. And many spoke up. Many spoke up very passionately as to why they felt these books should remain. That's not to say that there weren't teachers that felt that some of the material upon further inspection might not be, grade appropriate. And those discussions were made and had. Unfortunately, probably timing-wise could have been an issue, but there was no, sort of formal vote taken from that committee or from elementary teachers as to, which books should or would be pulled. And then I think you've seen the list that has circulated around. Ultimately, there were 10 books that were removed from that list of about 30.
The teachers that have sent me texts or emails or communicated with me in different ways, as you've been just talking there, it almost is more the process that concerns me than concerns them than the ultimate decision to remove some of these books. They felt the process they weren't as fully involved in the process of the final decision of what books would come and go as possible. That's what I get from some of the things that I've been hearing. Is that sort of a sense of where you think some teachers are?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing as well. Again, they're really grateful that they had the opportunity to share the concerns that they did share. And again, share those same concerns last Thursday when they met. Again, not everyone could meet on a short notice, but those that did really did speak up and talked about how they felt. And vast majority spoke up and felt that, these books shouldn't be removed, or at the very least, we should find ways to reincorporate them within the curriculum. I think that this really started to come to a head. A lot of teachers, didn't know that these books, were going to be not able to be used. Really, I started to receive messages after February 14th. We had a professional learning day. And I think it was during that day that elementary teachers were, informed or maybe reinforced that there were some books that needed to be pulled from the shelves, that they would be looking at some alternate text replacements when it came time to use those in the series. And that's when, boxes showed up in elementary schools that teachers, were asked to put those books in. And so that's when, sort of that outcry happened, not just at the elementary level, but, teachers started talking to each other at all levels, and then reaching out to me en masse. I started to be, really bombarded with messages and concerning phone calls as to, how and why this process happened. And so I think now we know what that process looked like. And you're right. Any time we have these discussions about replacing books or removing books, I don't want to say banned, because that's not really what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime we look at replacing and putting alternate books in, we do have to be really careful and mindful of the precedent that sets. And what I'm hearing from not just elementary teachers who are members, but teachers at all programmatic levels, is that we have to be careful that we're not setting a precedent that those outside of the education world who don't know their students, who don't teach that content area, who don't have the depth of knowledge to psychological and child development of their particular level of experience. We have to make sure that those voices don't drown out the educators that do have that experience. And I think that's what we're seeing really nationwide. And that's certainly what's happening here in our state. And so I think that's why so many continue to speak up and to be concerned, just really with this particular issue on a larger scale.
Yeah, I want to stick for a minute here with the Ohio County thing, but I want to say, as you have said, and as I've said several times here on the show in the past week or so, one of the reasons this makes my spider sense tingle in Ohio County is because of what's happening at the state level, because of first that so-called Anti-Stereotyping Act, which did not succeed in the House, and now the Anti-Racism Act, which is going through the Senate and looks like it likely will succeed, which really see, and other bills that are being talked about as well to take power away from teachers. But these anti-racism, anti-stereotype bills, whatever you want to call them, really make me nervous, because it seems to be an attempt to, and I said yesterday, I hate to use this word, to whitewash the history a little bit. And so this is in the context of that bigger picture for me. That's what's got me concerned, is that it's not just a couple books in Ohio County. There is an effort afoot at the state level to really, I think, direct history teaching in particular in a certain way. Jenny, have you seen, and we're talking to Jenny Craig from the Ohio County Education Association. Jenny, have you seen personally the replacement books they're going to use, the ones they say they're going to use instead of the Martin Luther King book we talked about last week, or instead of the Ruby Bridges book?
I've looked at those titles and compared them. And so, I have seen the original books and then those that are set to be replacements or, as Ms. McLeod said yesterday, perhaps used in conjunction with as, read-alouds or otherwise.
One of the things that concerns me is I have been sent, and I haven't verified this, but someone I trust, I assume so. I've been sent a couple of pictures from a couple of pages of the new books, the replacement books. You remember in the Martin Luther King book, I think one of the concerns was, the original book was that fire hoses were being used on race riots, and so they didn't want to show that. It seemed to be awfully tough for kids to watch. And yet I have here a picture of what is purporting to be from the new book that actually shows a man hanging, shows a lynching. That hardly seems to me to be, if that is indeed a picture from that book, it hardly seems to be a lesser image for the kids to watch. And if there's a fire hose concern that there was in the one book, I'm looking at again another picture. This I think is from this is from the Martin Luther King book as well, the new one, the replacement. It still shows African Americans being fire hosed during that time period, all of which is factually correct. I don't have a problem with it. But if this is true, it looks like the replacement books have the same kind of problems that the first one does. Help me with my grammar, you're the teacher. And the Ruby Bridges book, supposedly there was a picture of the N-word, and again, what I've been sent, if it's true, is a picture of the replacement book that has the N-word scrawled across the wall in the background of Ruby Bridges as well. I guess my question is if these are true, are the replacement books any better than the original books?
I think if we talk about, I guess, the original intention of looking at those books and the original intention that was stated for removing or replacing those books, it was stated that those were because some thought that the images were not quite second graders, which is the programmatic level that these books were in, that those images would be troubling. And I have looked at the titles of the ones that Ms. McLeod had mentioned at the Board of Education meeting. And I do have to agree that it seems as if the photos in the replacement books would actually perhaps be more problematic to those who are second grade teachers or parents of second graders looking at those images, that they, I guess I'm saying I agree that those images from these replacement books are more graphic than the originals, and that's my opinion. I haven't talked to anyone else comparing both sets of books, because I don't think that there's been able to have a side-by-side comparison. But I will say, perhaps the compromise that Ms. McLeod talked about yesterday on the radio is that we can tell the story in a read-aloud format without having those in students' hands. But I still think that this is a real slippery slope. I think that a precedent, setting that folks that want to come and speak out certainly have their right, and we should do the best we can to work with parents and community members. But ultimately, teachers should be trusted to have those tough conversations with their students. I think that the original books, in my opinion, just personally, weren't problematic. I think that we don't give our teachers and our kids enough credit to have those conversations and to talk about things. And I think that that seems to be what I'm hearing from a lot of people, that they as teachers feel as if they're more than capable of answering any question that a child might have on a truly a factual representation of history. And I also feel that I guess that's really it. That people really, overwhelmingly, what I'm hearing is that we as educators should be should be able to be charged with having those conversations with students. And we already have protocol in place in both state code and our county policies for parents wishing to comment on or ask for alternate assignments for students if there's a particular book that a parent doesn't feel is appropriate for their child for whatever reason. And we have done that. We have done that for years. We've accommodated different families' religious beliefs. We've been able to do that and to navigate that thus far.
It does seem to me that this so-called compromise or agreement that came to with some of the teachers on Thursday, it does make some sense to at least say, all right, we won't show the images, whichever images they are that are offensive, but we'll read the text, we'll read the book, we'll dig into the issue, even in second grade. We'll just avoid some of the more difficult pictures, and I kind of get that too. I think you're right, Jenny, and I got to let you go because I know you like talking about teaching, but you like teaching even more. It's almost time.
Yep, I'm getting ready to head in about 10
go teach,
minutes. So.
I think you're absolutely right that some of this comes down to trusting the teachers and trusting the students to be maybe a little more able to take things in than we sometimes think. I think that a lot of this, I'm sure there are kids that might be bothered by this. I get that. But I think we really need to, in general, trust the teachers and trust the kids to be a little wiser than we sometimes give them credit for. I'll let you go teach, though, because that's what you do best. So thanks for joining us today. I'll probably talk to you again soon. Thank you very much, Jenny.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Jenny Craig is the president of the Ohio County Education Association. And I just want to get somewhat of a direct teacher's perspective. We've been talking to Raquel McLeod a couple times. I am a little concerned. About these pictures that have been sent to me, which purport to be, and I have no reason to doubt them. I'm just saying I haven't gone out and bought the books myself. Purport to be pictures in the replacement books. Some of the images supposedly in the original books that were being taken out were designed to be, they said were too frightening, and yet I'm looking at this picture in the replacement book, and there's a picture of a guy swinging from a tree branch, having been lynched. I think that would be a difficult one too. The story we'll probably continue to talk about. We'll talk about the weather in a minute, but first we'll check into quick headlines from the Big Seven.
Now it's time for your local news headlines from 7 News at WTRF, My Ohio Valley, and ABC Ohio Valley. Only on AM 1600 WKKX. The Watchdog.
Good Tuesday morning, Ohio Valley. I'm Stephen Ruffing with your 7 News headlines. A large number of residents across Ohio and Marshall County were without power last night. AEP tells us windy and rainy weather caused about 1,800 customers to lose power. They also tell us that number is dropping. Once the wind died down, crews were able to make their way out to begin the restorations. We don't have an estimated time on when power will be fully restored, but stay with 7 News and WTRF.com for any updates throughout the day. Wheeling Police recorded a 9% drop in total overdoses for the first time in 5 years. Wheeling Police Chief Sean Schwartfeger says compared to this time last year, the total number of overdoses reduced to 61%, down 86% for overdose deaths. Unfortunately, the problem is still occurring. He says they received information from another law enforcement agency last week that they made a drug bust. The issue of teaching critical race theory is once again before West Virginia lawmakers. At issue is Senate Bill 498, titled the Anti-Racism Act of 2022. It passed the upper chamber last week by a wide margin. It's now being considered by the House Education Committee. The bill does not mention the actual phrase critical race theory. It does say teaching certain groups of society that are inherently racist or privileged over others is inappropriate. Now let's look at your headlines. Have a great day, everyone.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are back in action tonight when they host the Florida Panthers. It's a big-time clash of two of the best teams in the National Hockey League. The Penguins in their last 10 games, 6-3-1. Florida, a pretty good road team, 13-7-5 away from their home ice. Let's hear from the Penguins' Brian Rust.
They're very good offensively. They're a very fast team, extremely deep too.
Big news in the National Football League. Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley has been suspended for 1 year by the National Football League for gambling on NFL games. These bets took place within a 5-day period in late November 2021. Ridley admitted betting $1,500. And he says, I don't have a problem. Okay. Big 12 tournament will begin Wednesday night. The West Virginia Mountaineers will face Kansas State. The Major League Baseball lockout? Nothing new. The lockout continues. Nothing, no agreement has been reached between the players and the owners. I keep saying it. Stay tuned. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
We don't run down at sundown. For sports talk all night, listen to WKKX. For political conversation, tune to WVLY, and it's all online at watchdognetwork.com and on your phone with TuneIn Radio.
He has his say. You can have yours. Text us or call us and join the conversation. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Well, yesterday it was certainly a wet and rainy day. Wet and windy day, I guess I should say, yesterday. Aaron Myler is here, and he predicted it, so check mark on that. Aaron Myler is with us now from the Big 7. Any better today than yesterday, Aaron? Because it was kind of verstunk today for sure yesterday.
Yeah, better in a lot of ways. Worse in the sense that it's colder today. But, it's not raining, which I think is the main thing we all care about, which is good. But, it's cloudy. It's going to clear out a little bit later on. And then it's only warming up to 43. So definitely not a warm day out there.
But we're not going to have the kind of rain we had yesterday, right?
No. It's pretty much not going to be much rain at all today, which is going to be nice. So we're kind of out of that for the moment. And then we have we have some rain coming tomorrow morning again. So I guess we're out of it for today, I should say.
My grandson invited me down to his house. He FaceTimed. He says, Granddad, Mommy is making waffle bowls for breakfast. Do you want to come down and have some breakfast? And I thought, well, the two things I love the most in life, my grandson and food. So,
hey.
Of course I'm going to come down. So we opened the door and went outside, and my wife says, we better take an umbrella. I said, don't worry about it. It's not that bad. Well, then macho me, about 2 steps into it, it's like, this is a deluge I'm in. I should have taken my umbrella, because it did rain. When it rained yesterday, it rained pretty good, and the winds blew pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah, it was breezy. We had that, I was saying afternoon, we had that, and we're going to just have one little quick pop, and we had that one really heavy rainfall at the end. It rained for 3 or 4 minutes, and then it moved on and was just done again. So we definitely got some rain, but it was nothing that was absolutely insane, I guess is what I should say.
Several people talked to me last night and said, hey, Howard, you hear we got a big snowstorm coming on the weekend? I said, I don't think so, but I'd better check with Aaron. We do have some snow possible, but we're not having a big snowstorm, at least not as we know right now, right?
Correct. I did not say that, just to clarify. Yeah, just so everybody hears it. I did not say we're getting a big snowstorm. Yeah, we're getting some snow. I think it's kind of like at the beginning of the year. I feel like it was always the first snow is the one that everyone's kind of shocked by, and then this one is the one that it's shocking again. It's one of we've gotten out of it for a little bit. So now we're all what's happening? Models are trending anywhere. It's just still very, 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 very far out to look at snow totals. When you look at models, some things are saying 3 inches, some things are saying 5 inches. But this is, I've looked at these for it changes every single day. So it's you could see everything kind of changing a lot more. Could we end up getting more snow? It's totally possible. But we're going to have to get closer before we can kind of make that call.
All right. So for the people who are say, Howard, I heard a big snowstorm this weekend. We're going to get some snow, probably. Not some kind of giant blizzard, right? Okay. Yeah.
No, we're not getting a blizzard. It's not going to be one like that one back in January where you got like the 13 inches in some spots. Like we're not getting I need to knock on wood because with my luck.
Yeah. Hold on, knock on wood. I'm hitting my head.
Yeah, we're not getting some. I think it's just it's March. We've gotten such a taste of spring for a couple weeks now that we're all just like, oh well. I mean, because even at this point, I mean, even 2 inches is going to feel like the end of the world. It feels like we've gotten so much, but I'm not forecasting anything absolutely crazy with 13 inches of snow. It's just not going to. It's not going to be in the forecast this weekend. But we will be getting some snow, like I said, which will probably feel dramatic. The good thing is with Friday, it's going to be pretty warm. That'll allow the ground to warm up a bit more. So it won't instantaneously stick, which I think will help them be able to get the roads. I feel like a lot of times we have the problems with the roads is whenever they're trying to salt after it rained a ton. And like, I don't think we're trending to get less and less rain. It's looking like that day. But it's I mean, yeah. Snow, yeah,
So
but it's not looking like it's going to be a massive amount at this point in time. Again,
So we've got a cold and maybe at least lightly snowy weekend in store, and we've just got a slightly cool day today. What's interesting is we walk our way up the temperature scale from today till the weekend, and then it's as if the temperature drops dramatically and the weekend gets really cold. But midweek is actually going to be temperature-wise fairly okay.
Yeah, not too bad. Like I think anything after the last couple of days here would feel cold, but like the next few days won't be too bad. And then we're gonna have, like you said, 52 on Thursday. Thursday's looking like probably the best. I mean, Friday won't be too terrible either because even though it's gonna be cloudier, the rain's not gonna be for the majority of the day. So I have it in the forecast, but it's not looking like it's gonna be anything that we're seeing for most of the time. It's going to be really late that day. So, I mean, Thursday and Friday won't be too terrible in the sense of temperatures. I just like the sunshine. That's why I'm more into Thursday. But, and then, yeah, this weekend, I mean, it's like, I know people have been talking, I've been hearing people talk about St. Patrick's Day stuff this weekend, and I was like, oh, it's going to be so cold. But,
And you know what? I didn't even realize until late last night. I don't know how it popped off my account. This is our daylight savings time starts this weekend, right?
yeah, it's on Sunday. I think I actually I put the icon on my 7-day right before the show, so after I already posted the 7-day. But yeah, this Sunday is daylight savings time. So at least the weekend we're like losing an hour of. At least it's like not going to be the greatest weekend. So we're losing an hour where we want to lose an hour.
Lose an hour in the bad times. Yeah, I get you with that. Interesting. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. And then suddenly I looked at my calendar and said, oh, wait, this weekend. So a reminder to everybody, it is daylight savings time starting again this weekend, which will give me a chance to repeat my usual, why can't we just stay on God's time? Why do we have to change it every 6 months? But I won't go down that road right now.
Yeah, it's ruining it for me because I currently, I mean, not until recently, but I was for a while able to go to bed when it was dark out. And now it's just not going to happen.
All right. Well, the week is going to be okay. Again, as I've been saying a lot, it seems like we're biding our time till the winter is over and spring is here. We'll get those little mixed weeks, a little bit of cool weather, a little bit of warm weather, a little bit of rain, maybe some snow this weekend. But at the moment, doesn't look like any giant snowstorm, but maybe some snow, maybe a cumulative snow. And then daylight savings time begins, so that's a good sign that spring is almost here. And I guess we're just waiting it out, Aaron. We're waiting it out.
Yeah, like I said, I think we'll have some moderate snow on Saturday. I think it will stick some because it's not going to be like warm enough to melt all of it on the ground. But like, we're not having like a foot of snow. But I mean, I'll keep posting everybody as we get closer and get better snow ideas.
And the thing to keep in mind, as you tell us all the time, these things can change.
Very unfortunately, this is why snow is notoriously one of the hardest things to forecast, is because a degree makes the world of a difference.
Absolutely. All right. Well, at the moment, it looks like we're a degree above freezing. If the temperature readings I'm looking at are right, looks like about 33 at the airport. I've got 33 at the home studios and 33 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. So cool morning and moderately cool day today. So people should be prepared for that. Aaron, appreciate your time as always. Good forecast and good conversation. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Perfect. Talk to you then.
Thanks a lot. 6 before the hour here, Watchdog Morning Show for what is this, Tuesday? Is it only Tuesday? Oh, geez. Felt like this is longer in the week. here on a Tuesday. Let's take care of some business here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
My name's Teresa, and I'm a special educator in Lost Creek.
And my name is Megan, and I live in Marlinton. I'm a single mom with 4 amazing kids, and I work full-time at a nonprofit.
When I got COVID last fall, I was able to take paid leave. But if I got COVID now, we'd be choosing between paying bills and buying groceries.
Like many families in West Virginia, my struggle is finding childcare. Too many parents are facing impossible choices between working and caring for their kids.
Emergencies happen. If you are working hard at a job and get COVID and get sick, it shouldn't be financially devastating.
It's past time we invested in childcare so parents can work, providers are paid living wages, and kids get a strong start. Senator Manchin, my family is counting on you.
Senator Manchin, my family is counting on you too.
It's time that we ensure that our families and economy thrive.
It's time to pass Build Back Better.
Paid for by Moms Rising Together.
Wheeling Coin and Hobby on 10th Street in Wheeling, next to the Bridge Tavern in downtown Wheeling, wants to buy any and all unwanted gold and silver jewelry. They are paying top dollar for 10, 14, 18, and 22 karat gold plus 925 sterling silver. They also want to buy collectible coins and paper money from before 1933. Wheeling Coin and Hobby is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Coin and Hobby, 304-232-8430, and add them on Facebook.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Did you know that Masterforce has thousands of tools at Menards? Any tool you want, we have. There are hammers, drills, pliers, levels, wrenches, grinders, sanders, air compressors, nailers, workbenches, mowers, blowers, chainsaws, floor jacks, knee pads, work lights, fans. Whew. And that's just a taste. Want power, performance, durability? Come check out the wide range of products from Masterforce, exclusively at Menards.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Check out Toyota's wide range of all-wheel and four-wheel drive vehicles, like the brand new Corolla Cross, with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Or go off-road in a rugged new 4Runner. Visit your Toyota dealer today, or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, reserve yours. Offers end April 4th. Toyota, let's go places.
Broadcasting from the Ohio Valley, talking about the Ohio Valley. We're live and local. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
If your dad have any power problems on the island last night or this morning?
I don't know. I didn't hear from him, so I'm guessing not.
I've got a note here from a good friend of mine. North end of the island has been without power since about 5 o'clock yesterday, and they say it might not be restored before 4 p.m. today. This is not from the power company, but from someone who's in the area. This includes Madison, the gas station, the restaurants, the Alberta garage, and probably the fire station. So I guess power went out. We lost power for a little bit yesterday. I was amazed at how quickly we did get our power back, Biff, at our transmitter site, though. They got that fixed relatively quickly. But according to this text from a good friend of mine, the power is still out on Wheeling Island. So there's some darkness occurring over on the island, in some parts of it at least. I'll take a double check. I didn't check to see how many power outages there are around the area. I'll check that coming up. Next hour, the Capitol Report. Also, Brad McElhaney to talk about that anti-racism bill that moved through the legislature a bit yesterday. And Tom Scudieri and the invasion in Ukraine. It's all coming up on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
BBC News.
Yeah, I'll get it later. Excuse me.